Chani Bantwana Bekosi, and welcome to yet another true episode of These, what it do, what it does. My name is Sile Mahlangu, and I'm super excited to have you back if you are a returning subscriber. But if you are tuning in for the first time, thank you so much for tuning in, and I hope that you will enjoy this content and you will return back for more, but most importantly that you will subscribe, like, comment, and share the channel with the rest of your friends and family, right? So today we are talking about something that really can mess with our minds as actors, right? Yes, today we are talking all things audition, and I am going to give you some advice on how to handle an audition. But of course, before we go anywhere, we need to get into the word of the day. We never miss the word of the day, child. It is our anchor. It is our foundation. We don't do nothing without it, right? So today we will be reading from the book of Job, verse 42, chapter 42, verse 10, right? And it reads as follows. When Job prayed for his friends, the Lord restored his fortunes. In fact, the Lord gave him twice as much as before. Now, with this verse, I don't want us to focus so much on the fact that Job prayed for his friends and then he was blessed, and then God restored all that he had and gave him double. But I want us to actually look at how important it is to pray for one another, and for the fact that there is a blessing on praying for one another. You may not exactly maybe be restored from something you lost. You may not exactly maybe have more of what you've had, but God can protect you because you prayed that he protects someone else. God can heal you because you prayed that he heals someone else. And God can keep whatever it is that you are praying for in someone else's life from coming into your life. Or God can pray for even more of that upon your life. So I want us more especially to focus on the blessing that comes with praying for one another. We shouldn't just pray for one another because we're expecting God to give us lots of money or for God to give us 1, 2, 3, but we should pray for one another because there is a blessing that comes with praying for one another, and more especially because it is an instruction from the Word of God that we should always pray with one another. When someone is weak, you pray for them. You don't go around and capitalize on their weakness and capitalize on the fact that they are not doing good in life at that time, but you pray for them and you ask God to help them, even when they are bad to you, or even when they are mean to you and they're doing stuff that is crazy against you. You still pray for them because that means they need the prayer more than anyone else, right? Right. That is it for the word of the day, and I hope that you are encouraged and it blessed you as much as it blessed me. Now, getting into the matter at hand, how to handle an audition. I haven't exactly spoken about acting content in a minute, and bag because I don't want that, because I really want to help everyone out there who's trying to be an actor and who loves the work and is passionate for the arts. I really do want to be that light in your life, but worry not, I'm still here, and if I'm still here, child, I'm still gonna be giving you that advice. I'm still gonna be rolling out that information, right? Worry not. So auditions can be quite stressful, and auditions are something that we cannot escape. If you are trying to be an actor, you cannot run away from auditions. Even big actors still do audition if they want to go to that next level, right? Yes, you may get past maybe auditioning for cameos or extras or whatever, but the higher you go, you still need to be able to audition. Well, I guess when you get to a certain level, you're that good and you've done enough work that people don't really need to audition. You don't really need to audition, but it is very important to have knowledge on how to handle an audition, right? So I've got a couple of nuggets, and because this is something I love and I'm passionate about, I may get carried away a bit. So we might have a part 2, but we'll just see how far this goes, and then we'll know if we need a part 2 or not, right? So point number 1, when going to an audition, have a positive attitude, right? Now, when it comes to things like auditions and interviews and stuff like that, we tend to get very anxious, we tend to get very stressed, we tend to tense up, we tend to overthink a lot of things, and that is the first thing that you should never ever do, and something that will help you not to be stressed and not to have not a negative attitude per se, but not to have that anxious aura around your anxious energy within you when you go to an interview, is that you need to understand that an audition is more than just you getting that next gig or getting that next paycheck. So if you remove that pressure from an audition, then it eases you up even more, especially maybe if you haven't been working for a long time. Maybe you really need that next gig. But if you just remove that from it and look at it in a way that it is an experience, you are going there and you will have the chance to network and meet other people who are in the same industry as you. You will meet casting directors there, you will meet producers there, you will meet other actors there that might be working somewhere where they could mention your name. So when you go there and be yourself. Go there and smile. Go there and have a positive energy. Speak to people, don't be too much towards yourself. You're there, you're just reading your lines, you're so nervous about going in, and you forget to engage with other people who may speak to you about other opportunities, because now you're nervous and you're just making sure that you have your lines, and you're just so frustrated that you forget to speak to other people. Whereas in case you don't get that job, speaking to someone else may guarantee you the next job, or you may walk into the next audition and find someone who you met at that audition, and it makes things, it gives you an extra brownie point. So when you go to an audition, to help you not to be too anxious, not to be in that frenzy of audition, make sure that you engage and see it as an opportunity for meeting other people and networking, and just getting to know other people and talking about your work to people who will see value in that, right? So that's the first thing. Have a positive attitude. Do not be anxious when you go to an audition, right? So number 2, right? You need to know where you're going, okay? You need to make sure that you know where it is exactly that you're going, for safety purposes, and also to help you keep a straight mind on when you get there. You're not anxious because maybe you got lost or whatever. Just make sure you have all the information about where you're going. Also a background check, just to make sure that where you're going, it is a legit audition, and especially for those of you who maybe don't have agents and stuff like that, and maybe you go mostly to open auditions. Open auditions can be the pits. Open auditions can be a scam. So just make sure that you know where you're going, and you know that it is indeed a legit place that you're going to, just for safety measures, right? And also make sure that you have enough money to get you then to get you back. Most of the time auditions are in very secluded places, or very high-end places, whereby you might not be able to get there with just a taxi. Maybe a taxi can get you in the area, but then you will need to maybe request an Uber or a Bolt, which people are against these days, to get you exactly there. So just make sure that you have enough on you to make sure that you can get yourself there and back safely, right? Now, number 3, be prepared, right? There's nothing worse than getting to an audition and you are just all over the place. One, you are wasting people's time. They've been sitting there and they've been auditioning people all day, possibly for a couple of days in a week. They are tired. You don't want to get there and stress them out. You don't want to get there and make them regret being inviting you to the audition, or whatever the case may be. So when you get to an audition, you need to be prepared. What is the best way to be prepared? you need to have your profile on hand. So your profile is basically your headshot with all your information in there, your height, your whatever, just in case they need it. In most of the cases nowadays, you provide that information even before you go to the audition. But in case they haven't asked for that information, just have it, just in case they ask for it, so that you have it on hand. You can have a hard copy, maybe have a cute little file where you keep your profile, which has your headshot and it has your information, your height, your weight, all of those things, the color of your eyes and all of those things. Or and it also has your experience, who your agent is, where your latest job was, as well as your social media handles, and all your information is on there, right? So you need to have that. And then you also need to prepare. To be best prepared, I think an actor should always have 3 monologues on hand, right? You want to have an emotional monologue, and then you want to have a comic or light-hearted monologue, and then you want to have a dramatic monologue. These are monologues that you should always have ready, monologues that you will always brush over every now and again, even though you're not going to an audition or whatever. Obviously you will pay extra attention and go over it in depth. I will do another video on how to break down a monologue and how to make the best of a monologue at some point, but yeah, make sure you have those 3 monologues with you. Or if they have asked you to, they've sent you something to prepare, just make sure that you know the lines, right? But when you are preparing towards having the audition, do not focus so much on memorizing the lines and cramming the lines and cracking the lines immediately. No, you just have to understand what is going on in the scene, and also you need to play a certain scenario. Try to think what happened before you got to that scene and what might happen after, the expectations. Those are the kind of things that you need to really focus on, and as you focus on those things, it will be easy for you to understand the story, and therefore easy for you to know the lines. I know some of these things might be jargon and complicated to you, and we'll get to them someday, but yeah, that is very important, right? And in order to be prepared, like I'm saying, auditions are different. Some auditions will ask that you bring something, some will send you something, but sometimes even with auditions whereby they send you something, they might feel as though maybe whatever that they've sent you to prepare, it does not give them enough to work off. So then they may ask you to do your own monologue. So that is why it's always important to have ready your 3 monologues, right? Number 4, pay attention to the brief, right? Because the brief will tell you how you need to dress on that day, because the brief states what kind of character it is that they're looking for. They will say maybe white, black, Asian, Indian, whatever, black hair, brown hair, afro, whatever the situation, short, tall, athletic, or stuff like that. So the brief will basically tell you what it is that they're looking for. So then it will also inform you on how you should dress. Maybe they will say someone who's like a businesswoman, or someone who seems like they are very educated, whatever that looks like for you. Because sometimes they don't get into depth to say like brown hair, blue hair, or whatever, but they'll just say a businesswoman or a law student. So then you must make sure that you look the part as well when you go to an audition, right? Very, very important, right? I think I will leave you with a last note right now off of the top of my head, because I don't want this to be long in case we're gonna have a part 2, right? Another thing that you want to make sure of is that you are not too stiff, right? Because remember, guys, more than looking for the role that they're looking for and looking to see if you will fit the role, they're also looking to see if you are good to work with. So you want to give off good energies, you want to give off good vibes, you want to be human, you want to be yourself. You should be able to laugh if they're making a joke. Don't be so stiff and so tense that when they're making a joke, you just miss it. It just flies over your head because you're so worried about whether you're going to crack the audition or whether you're going to do well. So be human. If they make jokes, laugh. You can also make some jokes as well, but don't be stiff, don't be tense, because they're also looking to see if you are someone that they can work with, right? So you need to be yourself. Remember, they are also humans. You are not going to war. It's not you against the panelists. It is just work. So they also need to know your personality. They also need to know who you are. So don't be so closed off. Hence, I said in the beginning that don't go and just be very too much towards yourself. Engage with other people, avoid just being constantly reading your lines, because now it looks like you're not prepared because you're so worried about going over your lines. Maybe if there's a couple of people, I know nowadays, or when you have an agent, you are booked for the time that you're going to do your audition. You don't have to wait for so long. So they'll tell you your audition is at 12, right? And then you'll get there, you get in, and then there'll probably not be a lot of people there, or just, it will just be you. So, but engage with everyone else that is there, be it the person that welcomes you and directs you, whatever, because you don't know who you're speaking to, and those people may later chip in to add and say, I actually liked that lady who was wearing a blue top because she greeted me nicely, she spoke to me nicely. So you want to be open, you want to be accommodating, you want to have a cool energy. For now, those are the things that I feel are most important when going to an audition, right? I will maybe think of more stuff that I think you should know, but most importantly, make sure that you enjoy your audition. Remember, even though you don't get the job, you don't get the gig, someone in that panel might have liked you for something else, right? That's the primary thing that I need you to take away. And also, just because they didn't take you for that gig, it does not mean that you are bad. It just means that you are not what they are looking for that particular job. So don't take to heart and don't be discouraged. And the more you go to auditions, the more you get used to it. Yes, it is a frustrating process. It is a tiring process. But the more you go to more of them, the more you get used to them, and the more you enjoy them, and the more people you get to know within the industry. And as we all know, we can't run away from the fact that connections can do a lot for you in this industry. I hope this was helpful. And yeah, if you have any further questions, maybe your questions might help me to know what we should do on a part 2, if there is a part 2. But if not, I hope this was helpful. And don't forget to subscribe, don't forget to like and comment, and let's engage. I really love you. Remember to spread love, light, and positivity. Until I see you on the next one, bye bye. I'm Audi.